Throughout the years, there has been many different languages created to talk to one another. There are languages designed for one-on-one conversation, like English and French, as well as languages designed to talk to people from a distance, like Morse code. But in order to communicate in these languages, you must learn them. Otherwise, you won't understand what the person speaking to you is trying to tell you. Of course, there are hundreds upon thousands of languages out there, so learning all of them would be next to impossible. So you'll never be able to properly communicate with everyone out there. Or will you? There is one language out there that everyone understands. One that says things without even putting words into it, and something you can't explain in any shape or way. Indeed, music is a language everyone knows. For music tells us emotions and feelings that we all understand, yet may call them differently by name. There are many ways of making music, from simply tapping your finger to using your own voice. But instruments are the main source of music. They are tools designed entirely for the purpose of making music. And out of all the instruments, though, there has been this one that I've always liked. It's been around for over 100 years and has gone through many shapes and sizes. From the singling of the arrivals of a noble, to the calls on the battlefield, to the jazz of the 1920s, and to today, it has always been an heroic figure that has walked among us. It is called the trumpet. And as you can see, I can play it. Playing and understanding the language of an instrument is not like understanding music. Everyone understands music, and everyone likes at least one type of music. The only way you couldn't is if you had no emotions or feelings. But to understand the language of an instrument is just like having to understand the vocal language like English. You still need to learn how to create the words, or in this case, notes, to fit them together to create a sentence, or in this case, music. And for the trumpet, there is no exception. It took me about 4 years to understand it, and even now I still don't fully understand it, and I probably never will. For I'm always changing things that I'm doing, or finding new things about how to play it. Same thing goes with the English language. Changes aren't always being made to it, but you always seem to be finding new ways to say certain words differently. It could be simply changing how you say a word, or it could be completely changing the way you say a letter inside all words. Now, if you're unfamiliar about the trumpet, or don't know very many things about the trumpet, like the history of some sorts, I'll give you a quick little rundown on the trumpet. But the first thing you should know is that there are many types of trumpets inside the trumpet family. Like the cornet, buglehorn, alto horn, mellophone, French horn, baritone horn, tuba, bugle, baroque, slide trumpet, natural trumpet, and pocket trumpet. Actually, I lied, there is no trumpet family. These are only instruments that are similar or partially related to the trumpet. Well, you know, there kind of is a trumpet family, if you note all the keys a trumpet can be in, like the B flat, A, C, D, E flat, low F, and G trumpets, all sound and look differently, but are still trumpets. You know what, in the end, it's all too confusing, actually, and there's so many instruments similar to the trumpet. So I'm just going to focus on the most common of all trumpets, the B flat trumpet, which is what I have here. Now, the three things you should look out for when looking at a B-flat trumpet is 1, the bell or dome shape right here should be facing the same direction as the player is facing. Unless, of course, the player doesn't know how to play the instrument. And it's like, this, or like this, or like this, or something. But if he does know how to play the instrument, it should be looking like this. Now, the second thing you should point out is these 3 valves right here. They should be facing upward, as you can see, and they should be around the middle section of the trumpet. And finally, the third thing you should notice is that the whole trumpet itself is a little bit compact, kind of like a squished oval. Yeah. But trumpets weren't always like this. In the beginning, around 15 BC, trumpets were nothing more than a long or straight circular tube that you could play a note or two on. They are mostly used for hunting or for signaling danger. By the medieval times, trumpets were used for organizing members of an army. The trumpet didn't really become much of a musical instrument until the Renaissance era. Before that, it was more or less just a tool. This new era brought forth a new kind of trumpet called a natural trumpet, later being called a baroque trumpet, which could play a harmonic scale. These trumpets became so popular in this time, and so much music was made for it, that this era was dubbed the Golden Age of the Natural Trumpet. But the trumpet still wasn't able to play a full melody, like that of the harp or lute, for the range of notes was not enough to do so. What it needed was valves, preferably 3 of them, to shorten or lengthen the instrument,
and what was needed for the pitch of the note.
This would in turn allow the trumpet to fill in the gaps on the harmonic scale and become able to fully play an everyday tune. So in 1793, people went to work and started to try to figure out how to make the valves. But it wasn't until 1818 that Friedrich Bochern and Heinrich Stolzer, they're both German, made the valve trumpet, the modern-day trumpet of the day.
Of course, the valveless trumpets didn't disappear completely, and they're still with us today even. Now called bugles, they are used as military signalers, scout callers, I don't know, for the morning or something like that, and commander-like shouters, pretty much. They've been around for about 200 or 300 years, and they've also been part of some pretty important wars, like the American Civil War and World War I.
As for the trumpet, it has made a huge success in music such as jazz from the 1920s to today, as well as created some great musicians like Louis Armstrong.
Well, I hope I was able to give you a good insight on the trumpet and music itself. They say you learn something new every day, but I bet you learned something a lot more than just Uno inside this here video of mine. Well, so long.